so that's the model we found, which is self-sustaining model within anywhere from 3 to 5 years, depending on where you start, what it is. Next one. So also there's an organization structure. That's me. There's another brother, Nasir Mujawar. He was here last time. We talked about him, and he's in software industry. So he's pretty. He's also from India. Dr. Abrar Hussain. He's also a PhD in computational chemistry. Very good brother from Georgia Tech. Riaz Ahmed. He's a software engineer, if I'm not mistaken, and he does a lot of work in terms of software built up and all for these things, IT industry. Saeed, we talked about him. There are 2 board members we actually included from Alam mission, and the reason why, because they have this 30 years of experience, they have that. We are going into an area, we want them to guide us what they have done. We want that guidance. So in any kind of board, we want somebody who has done that and also aligned with them. I will tell you about Nurul Islam. They are doing so well. They are building schools one after another. They are probably, I think 2, 3 years ago, they were around 38, 40 schools. Now they have 50 schools. They are building 5 to 10 schools per year. And they don't have any problem because most of them are self-funded. They get a lot of people who now know them. If anybody goes and talks to them, they probably will not even talk to them because they are in such a role. They're doing so well. We had direct access to him just because of Saeed. Because he was one of his first students, he talked to us that we're interested, that they were not. The reason why I say the Al-Amin mission, they have their own entrance exam. They test the students before they take. They take around anywhere from 1,1100 to 1,500 students every year. Around 1,500 they take every year. So 1,500 students, they give an entrance exam. There are probably 17,000 students appearing for that entrance exam for entry into the school. And so there's a 10% chance that you can enter the school. Okay. So there's no question we've got customers on. Okay. What we did was we said, okay, you're taking 1,500. We want 30, 40 students. We went there first year. Why don't you take 1,540? And they said, okay. So we didn't have to re-engineer the whole thing. We aligned with them. So now we get students from them. So that's how we got those 37 first-year students. Then the next year they gave us more students. And it's not that they gave us the last of the students. It's the students which qualify. Whoever is closer to the school can go to that school. So they open it up. So we get good students. Next one. So our leadership team, again, we want to have an education advisory board. Why do we have an education advisory board? Because we want those students to see how people have done in this country or somewhere else. We want to have them contact with community leaders. We want to have to contact with other teachers, other professors who are doing extremely well. Also, that puts an oversight on the school. So this Professor Vedul Kasmi, he's in Delhi University. He's a professor in languages. He's been there a couple of times. There's another professor from Jamia Millia. He's in physics, I think, and he's also been there. He's Mufti Muhammad Khalid. He's from Darul Uloom Deoband. He's a Mufti, and he's been there. He's a very progressive guy. So these guys, Dr. Tanji, he's in Clemson. I think he's a vice dean now. So we've got these people. We try to get more and more. And with having people in the board who are in IT industry, they have good innovative ideas. We actually have cameras in each and every class in the school, so we can actually see what the students are doing, what kind of education is being given to them. And of course, the test scores are there. Next slide. So this is our next step, is to create a youth mentorship and teaching programs, a youth leadership program. What do we mean by that? Is we want young children in our society and in the society in India to take part in this. This year, or probably next year, I'm planning my son. Where is he gone? He was here somewhere. He's gone to the bathroom. He's 15 years old. He's in 10th grade. I'm planning to send him down there for a week where he's going to actually take classes. He's going to be given syllabus for maybe 6th graders, 7th graders. But he has to actually go and teach them. He has to see what things are, and he has to form groups. He has to do things what the teacher will, like a teaching assistant or something like that. He does things. So that he will see what things are, what the challenges those students face and what things are, and it also help him have a teaching and a mentorship program working under teachers out there also. So that helps. It will also youth leadership. Maybe he needs to have some kind of a youth group program where they interact with each other. Maybe when he comes back, he probably will need certain fundings to do with those. He has to go out and get those fundings himself. See how difficult it is. It's not easy to do that. And that money is for the students, for the youth leadership to develop this. So this we are looking to develop it. That will give access for our children to interact with these children, teach their two things and spend time with them. And this is just not with one thing. You can do it in any. This is a very scalable model, because this problem is in most of the community, most of the countries have this. And that's what it is. With that, I'll open the question for floor.
So I have one basic question.
Yes.
Jazakumullah khair for the effort and the ideas, great, mashallah.
Yeah.
But you mentioned pretty much the model is replicated of, for example, Al-Amin. So why can't you just join the effort of Amin? They have all the infrastructure. Why are you creating a new structure with all the hierarchy, with all the board, with new people? All of these people on the top, why can't they just step in, Amin or other organizations similar to this, and expand with their infrastructure rather than to create a parallel infrastructure?
And that's a good question. Why do we do that? Because Al-Amin mission is to stay in West Bengal. They don't want to move out of that place. There's already probably 10, 12, 15 million students in there whom they can easily, they're trying to cover. So they really don't want to move out of their comfort zone. They want to do it in there. If you want to do it, you can do it. They don't try to help you because they have so much work in their hand. It's like Ethiopia, you have 4.1 million. Just in West Bengal, you get 10 million. So you have 2.5 times of Ethiopia lying right there. So they are so embroiled in it that they cannot see anything beyond that. And they don't want to. They are growing in that. They have started one thing here and there, but they want to keep it centralized, they want to keep it, and they've done so well with giving them basic education that they can take higher education in good institutes, which they're not investing into because it's already government institute. They're out there. And now they have people, if a child qualifies into a medical school or goes into an engineering school, very good child, he goes to one of the topmost schools there. Would you as a person be willing to sponsor an orphan? My question is yes, most of the time. So you have these people doing it. So you really don't have to re-engineer two things. So your rate of return on investment. That's when you look at Al-Amin. We actually asked them. We even asked them, do you want us to do it? They said, no, we don't want to get out of it. Their whole thing was that. You want to do it, you do it. So there is other states which we are going to bring it to. There is other. And I'm sure in the community, like how Said came out of that school, there will be students who are graduating. There are students who are into entrepreneurs, other things, that they will see this, we'll reach out to them. If they want to do it, anybody, it's an open plan. You can have it, go ahead, do it. Are we doing the same thing in other countries? We are trying to. We are giving them whatever IP we got to carry on. So that was your answer. They have too much work in hand. They don't have the time.
What extent the institutions, the Al-Amin and Crescent, getting government support in terms of curriculum and salary for the employees?
You want to answer that in terms of Al-Amin getting government support, salaries and other things, curriculum?
So it's a Al-Amin, every student basically affiliated with the government school because it's a government, but we do not take any, we don't get any because it's like a partial government. So what we get, if you are a Muslim student, then you'll get like 500 rupees per student, but then you have to show all that you are below poverty level. So those students are below poverty level. We do get the 500 rupees, which is like $5-6.
So the thing is, what we do is Al-Amin, and another thing I liked about Al-Amin is, as with any country, you don't want to play with politics. So they've stayed away from politics. They have concentrated on that. But at the same time, they engage the government which is there. It doesn't matter, it's a right wing, it's a left wing, it's the central government. They've done it very well for the last 30 years. And now if you, people who are from India or along that, it's a total right wing Hindu fundamentalist government which is going on. But they still work with them. So you take certain fundings which are allocated to the minorities and you keep it to that level. You don't want much government because once they start, then they start interfering, especially if a total right wing comes in. The curriculum is taken because all the students are giving the high school state exams, you have to follow that curriculum. So the curriculum is pretty straight and simple forward because if you don't use that curriculum, your students won't be able to complete those exams. So that's what it is. So think about it, it's a private charitable organization, 501c3, it's non-profit, but at the same time you keep the government engaged by taking very small amounts of money only for the students who don't pay. And that's what it is. So they know that, and you get certain amount of funding for that. Yes.
Do you have female teachers? Because I didn't see any women on the board members list.
Most of the teachers are females.
Yeah.
Most of the teachers.
Most of the teachers, we try to get local teachers, good teachers out there. We didn't show those things. Also, if you look at it, I mean, there's a lot of female students. The problem with India having female students at our stage right now is you require a separate dorm, you require other things which we don't have that infrastructure till you're not that big. We want to make sure that we do things right before we do things into into other area. Also, because we want to keep it as an Islamic also in the sense that there's not much mixing and you have to take care of your girls, you have to take care of those things. If any parents is leaving their girls in the dorm to the school, it is your daughter. You got to take care of them as your daughter. So till you're not sure what you're doing, I would not do it right. But Al Amin mission, they do have it, and that's why the board is there. At a time when we will, that's why we have acquired more land in there, that we will make that separation better. But yes, to answer, I think teachers, most of our teachers are female teachers. You'll see a lot of organizations, they take a lot of pictures in this time of media and all those kinds of, we try to shy away in putting pictures of females and those kinds of things as much as possible. I just don't feel that it is the right way. I mean, you want to do it, you do it quietly. Those people who are doing it, trust me, their heart is gold and they do it only for feasibility. The amount of money they make, you try to pay them as per the prevailing rates are, so we won't work out. Which is expensive compared to Indian standard. Our standard very cheap, but still.
We have 5 more minutes, so we can take a couple of more questions.
Al Amin has restricted itself to West Bengal. You are going into Hyderabad, into Bihar, and all these places. These are pretty huge distances. How do you manage this?
Well, we want people like you. So people identify. So if you are in a community and you think that there is a possibility, and that's why we want to make it in a way that we will give you the whole role play. It's like having a Subway sandwich store. Wherever you want to set it, you find where you can set it. Whether people want to come and buy, we will set it up for you. So that's how we want to make it. Ultimately, it has to be something like a social franchise or something where you've done very well in your life. You have a little bit to give. You've gone back, village requires it, there's no access, you've come from there, we'd like to invest in that. Have I been to Ethiopia? Have I been to those? No, but it's the same problem. It's nothing much changes. There are people like Kamal Abu Bakr is from there, he knows, he's done the right thing, and now the world is very small. I mean, there's not much things in monitoring, it's very easy to do things, it's not that. So I think investing into people, the people themselves identify, and when they see that there's positive outcome with such, you're getting now out of 1,100 students, a third of them into technical education, and with very good. And then you have another 2/3 which are coming out, which are very competent people, are going to go into basic sciences, another thing. They're going to be all over the place, like Saeed went into basic science. See what the outcome is. Yes.
So my family has this school of nursing, school of education and things like that. And it is very bureaucratic, right? The government officials from Delhi, they keep on coming regularly. So you got to pay them off to keep things moving along. So, okay, you're establishing basic schools, but do you have to deal with a lot of bureaucracy, corruption and things like that?
you have to have licenses, you have to have these kinds of things. But still at a school level, they don't hassle you much because there's not much money. It's a charitable organization. There might be a local MLA, local councillor, local this, they want their names to be printed. Let them come and take a picture. That's okay, we will invite you. Come and give a speech when we are doing certain things. Come and see how positive. And when they see these positive, and you're basically going into areas which are primarily dominantly Muslim. So most of them are either Muslims or they have to get their votes, so they are toward that. Does it make a difference if you come and take the limelight? I'll supply you everything, you can come and give the talk. That's okay. Let them have it.
Inshallah. So with that, we have to conclude the session. Jazakallah khairan. Just give a round of applause. All the way from Atlanta. He gave a couple of hours for us, instead of taking the kids for sightseeing. Jazakallah khairan again. We appreciate your time. And as I mentioned before, we do have a complimentary lunch available, inshallah, after the Dhuhr prayer and Sunnah prayer. Please come and join us. But before you leave, please get the ticket from me.